Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
As soon as Benjamin left, Dylan scolded Karen discontentedly. "Don't talk nonsense next time. I'm doing it for us. If it weren't for Everett, we wouldn't have ended up in such a miserable situation. Dad didn't even do anything to Damien and Miley after what he did. We still need to be cautious," Karen complained as she shot him a disdainful look. They had to have some plans. Even if they were going to spend their old age at the family manor, they still needed to secure their position there. "Don't worry. Do you think they're the kind of people who can behave themselves? As long as we behave and not get on Dad's nerves, nothing will happen." Dylan snorted. "You mean to say they might make other moves?" Karen's eyes widened. "Do you think Everett would be content just fleeing abroad like that, never daring to show his face again in the future?" Dylan retorted sarcastically. He knew things were about to be exposed, so he fled in advance. Since then, he must have been planning something. "Just wait and see." Karen's jaw dropped, beginning to understand him. Looking around, Karen lowered her voice and asked, "So, do you think it's a lose-lose situation? If that were the case, would our opportunity finally come? Don't say such things in the future. It's best not to even think about it," Dylan sternly warned her. "Be careful not to end up with nothing in the end." After experiencing it once, he was truly afraid. Now that he had a place where he could live without worries, he was truly content. Moreover, what would they gain from arguing? One daughter was dead, and the other was unconscious, and his only son had no ambitions. "It just crossed my mind suddenly. It wasn't intentional." Karen dared not speak recklessly anymore. After speaking, she cautiously looked around, making sure there was no one around before feeling a sense of relief. "Come on, let's go to bed too." Their only goal now was to keep Benjamin company peacefully. During this time, he also realized that Nicole and the others would not give them a hard time if they did what they were supposed to do. Perhaps in the future, he would still have a slight say in matters, and that would be enough. On the other side, Nicole and Jared returned to the Riddle residence with their children. Shortly after, Daniel and Gloria also arrived. "Dad, Mom, don't worry. You should rest early," Nicole comforted them as she saw that they were looking upset. "Yeah, you guys should also rest early," they said. After Daniel and Gloria went upstairs, Nicole patted Nolan and Lonna's shoulders and said, "Let's go to sleep too." "Okay," the kids responded, and the family went upstairs together. After putting the kids to bed, Nicole and Jared returned to their own room. "Did you get any news?" After closing the door, Nicole immediately asked Jared. "Not yet." Jared's gaze slightly darkened. Nicole furrowed her brows. "Why?" Lawrence called Nolan. "Wasn't it about this matter?" "He called Nolan?" Jared's eyes darkened once again. "Yeah, during dinner," Nicole explained. "He didn't say much, so I thought there was news." She thought that Lawrence had received some information there, so he contacted Nolan. Jared glanced at Nicole and said, "Maybe there's progress, but Lawrence won't get any information." Nicole blinked before shaking her head, amused. She was starting to understand Jared. "All right, you can handle it." Apparently, Jared had already done something to stop Ian's investigation. "Rest early." Jared gently smoothed Nicole's hair, his eyes soft. The investigation in San Giotto had been making no progress. Who could have done this, and why is it so mysterious? Is it also because of Nicole's fire crest, or is it for something else? He wondered. His phone suddenly rang. He saw that it was from Ian and answered it. "Mr. Royce, I feel like our investigation is being hindered. It's like there's a force that's confusing our vision," Ian said helplessly. Their investigation always seemed like they were about to get results, but in the end, it all turned out to be empty. Thinking it over, he always felt that someone must have manipulated things behind the scenes for it to turn out like this. Lawrence fell silent for a moment. "Then don't investigate," he said sarcastically. Ha! Ian was surprised. Just stop. We won't find anything even if we investigate. The person you're talking about should be Jared. Lawrence had already figured out that if someone had done this, it was likely Jared. So we really won't investigate any further? Ian still did not want to give up. Lawrence sighed. Forget it. Just have someone secretly keep an eye on Nolan and Lana, and make sure they don't get into trouble. Understood, Ian agreed. Then he asked, Mr. Royce, how are things on your end? Not going well. Lawrence felt somewhat annoyed. If we couldn't crack it, does that mean we have to give up? Do you need someone else's help? Ian asked. Who else can I find? Lawrence felt frustrated. Well, Ian choked. It seemed like they could only find Nicole, but they did not dare to gamble on the results of reaching out to her. Okay, just handle your own tasks. Lawrence hung up the phone. After putting away the phone, he picked up a wine glass and took a sip, his expression becoming even more annoyed. He had not expected things to go so poorly during this visit. The fire crest had returned to Nicole's hands. Although Nicole did not say anything, she must have some resentment toward him. Moreover, at some point, Nicole might regain her memory, which would put him in an even more disadvantageous position. He had thought that there would be a turning point after obtaining the water crest, but he still could not get it. Now, he only had two options: to give up the water crest or ask for Nicole's help before they officially cut ties. The problem was, if Nicole helped him, no one knew what the result would be. If the water crest recognized its master again, all his previous efforts would be in vain. The more he thought about it, the more frustrated he became. Lawrence emptied the wine in one gulp. Then he placed the empty glass heavily on the coffee table. Taking a deep breath, Lawrence got up and strode out, entering a room behind him. How's it going? He sounded displeased. Mr. Royce, we've done our best, the other party said timidly. What's the use of useless people like you? Lawrence exploded in anger. The room fell silent, and no one dared to make a sound, not even daring to breathe. After a while, Lawrence roared. You have 3 more days. If you can't crack it by then, you can all get the hell out of here. Yes. Once they responded, the sound of keyboard tapping filled the room once again. Lawrence stormed out of the room and went upstairs. The lights in the base gradually went out, leaving only one room still illuminated. The next day, the weather was gloomy. After Nicole and Jared dropped off the children at the kindergarten, they arrived at Riddle Corporation. Jared did not leave and followed Nicole into her office. Soon, Sean and Steve also joined them. Max, tell them. Nicole's expression was somewhat grim. Yes, Mrs. Johnston, Max responded and then carefully reported the findings of the investigation. According to her deduction, Charlie went to investigate near the scene. Sure enough, suspicious individuals were found. After their kidnapping attempt failed, they disguised themselves as nearby residents, planning to quietly leave after the situation calmed down. Though the situation was now clear and the people were apprehended, the truth of the matter still shocked them greatly. Who ordered it? Sean's voice was chilling. Since the person was caught, the mastermind behind the scenes would inevitably be revealed. Max's face turned slightly pale as he said, Chloe. What? Steve's voice involuntarily raised several degrees. Had Chloe gone mad? They don't know Chloe, and we determined this based on their testimony, which all linked to her. Unfortunately, we don't have any substantial evidence, Max said with frustration. Chloe had indeed become smarter. Although she did this, she did not leave any incriminating evidence against herself. What should we do? Steve exclaimed angrily. Just let her go like this? She wanted to kidnap my kids just to threaten me. Nicole's eyes flashed with coldness. She looked at Patricia and said, have someone investigate what she's planning. Yes, Patricia agreed and left. Nicole snorted coldly with an icy gaze. The more Chloe wanted something, the less Nicole would give it to her. Is that all? Steve was fuming as he thought. Chloe is getting off too lightly. He had sort of understood Nicole's intention. Sean glanced lightly at Steve and said, "This is already good enough." Without evidence, they could not do anything to Chloe. It was better to let her experience the pain. Not being able to obtain what she wanted was the most frustrating. Steve sighed helplessly as there really was no other way. "It's all right, you all can go back to work now." Nicole looked calmly at Sean and Steve. They had come over after hearing the news, and now that they knew the result, it was more important for them to attend to their own important matters. Chloe's matter was not that important. At least for now, it would not affect the Riddle family, and Sean and Steve's work should not be delayed. Understanding Nicole's intention, Sean said, "Let me know if there's anything you need." "Yes, just tell us what we need to do," Steve added. "Don't worry. We can handle it." Nicole smiled. After Sean and Steve left, she looked at Jared. "I really didn't expect it to be Chloe." If it was Chloe, it seemed like the heavy feeling had dissipated. She was not particularly concerned if it was just Chloe alone. With Chloe's current abilities, she could not really cause a big stir. Jared's eyes turned dark. It is rather unexpected, indeed. But that did not mean he would forgive her. Anyone who even thinks of laying their hands on Nolan and Lana should be aware of the consequences. Nicole arched an eyebrow as she looked at Jared. "What are you going to do?" "Nothing. You should ask Grandpa this question instead," Jared said indifferently. Nicole quickly understood that Benjamin would soon find out about this, and he probably would not let Chloe off the hook easily. "Let's go back to the family manor tonight." Jared stroked her hair and continued, "Let's focus on work now." "Sure," Nicole responded, watching him leave. She sat down in her chair and bit her lip. Turns out everything was caused by Chloe. Well then, don't blame me. After a while, Patricia returned and said, "We got it." "What?" Nicole raised her eyebrows. Chloe's still not giving up. Those people said that after they kidnapped Nolan and Lana, they planned to demand a huge ransom. Chloe probably wanted to use the money to threaten you to give up the management of Nando Corp. Patricia said with a solemn expression. If Chloe succeeded this time, they would probably have no other choice. After all, they could never gamble with Nolan and Lana's safety. She's really ambitious. Can she even manage Nando Corp if it's given to her? Nicole said with a hint of sarcasm. Moreover, if she succeeded this time, she might ask for Riddle Corporation next, and then the entire Riddle family. Even though she failed this time, will she try other methods in the future? Patricia frowned. Someone like Chloe probably would not give up easily. "Keep an eye on her," Nicole snorted coldly. "If Chloe made another move, let there be irrefutable evidence against her." "Yes," Patricia agreed. "You can leave now." Nicole took the documents on the table and began to look through them. After Patricia left, she started taking care of the tasks that Nicole had given her. Time flew by, and it was already afternoon. After handling the documents on the desk, Nicole heard someone knock on the door. "Come in," Nicole responded. The door opened. The footsteps that were heard sounded different, but somewhat familiar. Nicole furrowed her eyebrows and looked up. "Lulu, June, why have you come back? With such a big thing happening at home, how can we stay away?" Lulu came to the desk, appearing rather resentful. "Are you planning to keep it from us forever? You came back because you heard about Stanley's situation." Nicole quickly understood. "Yes, Samuel and Spencer are still in the hospital, so we came from there." June replied. They came to see Nicole after seeing that Stanley was doing okay. "Come, have a seat." Nicole invited the two to sit on the couch. The secretary quickly came in, served coffee, and left. "I didn't mean to keep it from you. It's just that the situation wasn't serious, and your honeymoon period was ending, so I thought of telling you after you came back," Nicole explained. "Is it serious? Stanley got hurt, and Nolan and Lana must have been frightened," Lulu said with concern. Nicole nodded. It's okay. And the matter has been cleared up. Who did it? June and Lulu instantly became serious. Chloe, Nicole sighed. June and Lulu widened their eyes in astonishment. Is she crazy? Maybe. Nicole did not want to talk about Chloe, so she changed the subject. Since you're back, let's have a welcoming dinner tonight. June and Lulu exchanged a glance and said, Forget it. Let's do it in a few days. There are too many things happening at home recently. It's okay. It's just the three of us, so no one else is invited. Even though it was called a welcoming dinner, it was actually just a gathering of a few good friends. Upon hearing this, the two agreed. Okay then. If it was just the three of them, it would be fine. They had to eat dinner anyway, so a simple meal together was good enough. What should we eat? Lulu asked them. How about some fish? June suggested. She always wanted to eat fish whenever she ate out. Okay, Nicole agreed. Soon, they all reached an agreement and decided to go for dinner together after work. When the sun set, Nicole went to the dinner gathering while Jared went to the family manor alone. He had also arranged for a driver to pick the children up. When he arrived at the family manor, Benjamin saw that Jared was the only one visiting. He narrowed his eyes and said, Here, sit. Jared sat down and cut to the chase. Grandpa, it was Chloe who did it. Benjamin remained silent, making it difficult to discern his thoughts. She wants Nando Corp, Jared said simply, believing that Benjamin would understand him. All right, I got it, Benjamin said solemnly. Jared looked at Benjamin before standing up to leave. I'll head back first. After watching Jared leave, Benjamin's complexion gradually turned pale and then blue. How dare Chloe do such a thing? Karen brought tea and took the opportunity to speak. Dad, you have to do something. Nolan and Lana are adorable. What would happen if they ever got hurt or frightened? Benjamin gave Karen a faint glance, feeling defeated. Dad, have some tea. After saying that, Karen turned and left. Benjamin had instructed them not to come out, and eavesdropping was not right, so she dared not say anything more. Benjamin called the butler over and said, Tell Chloe to take care of her treatment expenses herself. Yes. The butler then advised Benjamin, Please take care of yourself. It's okay. Benjamin shook his head, though he looked solemn. He figured that he had been too kind before, which was why all of them were simply taking advantage of him. Jared's gaze was dark when he left the family manor and got in the car. Mr. Johnston, there seems to be no movement from Damien's family. Are they feeling confident? Max said indignantly, frowning. No rush. The more confident they are, the more likely they'll expose themselves. Jared's eyes turned cold. The more silent they were now, the more complacent Chloe would become. There would definitely be a time when she would become overconfident. Max knew that Jared wanted to deliver a decisive blow to Chloe. Got it. Meanwhile, at Damien's house, Chloe had already received the call from Benjamin's butler. Upon hearing that she would no longer receive her treatment funds, her face turned red with anger. What will you do from now on? The assistant asked Chloe with some concern. Miley isn't at home now, and Mr. Riddle Sr. isn't paying for Chol's treatment now. We can't possibly rely on Damien. Is Chloe's treatment going to be stopped like this? Damn it, Nicole. Chloe gritted her teeth in anger. Although the butler had not said a thing, she knew for certain that Nicole was involved in this. Do you think she did this? Her assistant asked in concern. Do you think it's possible that she knows about the kidnapping? Even if she knows, what can she do? Running to Grandpa and telling him about it is all she can do. Other than that, she has no way to get to me. Chloe bragged. She had been very careful, so much so that even if the truth was revealed, nobody would be able to trace it back to her. After all, she could not afford to make the same mistake twice. But it seems that Mr. Riddle Sr. is furious now. What will you do in the future? Her assistant asked. Even if Nicole could not do anything to them, Their lives from here on out would no longer be smooth sailing, especially with Benjamin holding off on the treatment funds. "I'll think of another way," Chloe said with spite. She was determined to not let Nicole off the hook, as the latter had severed the one financial pipeline she had. "What do we do now?" the assistant asked with concern written all over her face. Chloe shot the assistant a look of displeasure and grumbled. "You were the one who came up with the idea that we would succeed if we discovered Nicole's weakness. Look at us now." "Well," the assistant paused, feeling somewhat defeated. "I didn't expect Stanley to show up. You can't even handle Stanley on your own?" Chloe was upset. What a bunch of useless pricks. Initially, Stanley managed to delay our progress, but the one who had ruined everything was the person who had turned up unexpectedly, the assistant explained as a solemn expression crossed his face. "They were rather capable." "Someone who unexpectedly turned up? As in a passerby?" Chloe, who was a little puzzled, asked. "Could someone of such capability just be a casual passerby?" "We can't be sure. They appeared when it happened, and vanished right after the incident was over," the assistant explained. Chloe furrowed her brows. "A passing stranger with such remarkable skills who disappeared after helping? Are you suspecting something?" the assistant asked upon noticing the weird look on Chloe's face. "Find a way to figure it out. This issue can't remain unclear and unsolved." Chloe gritted her teeth, unable to help but feel that something was not quite right. The assistant agreed at once and nodded. "Okay, I'll investigate this." "Wait a minute." Chloe stopped the assistant. "I want you to check on what Nicole has been up to recently." Since they were not able to seize the two troublemakers, they might as well target Nicole directly. And although the assistant was taken aback for a moment, he gathered his bearings and left right away. With her eyes on her assistant's receding figure, Chloe's expression darkened. "So what if Grandpa deprives me of my money? I could still get it from Nicole. And if she succeeded this time, she would not have to be in anyone's shadow ever again." Meanwhile, Nicole, June and Lulu were enjoying their lively meal. "The honeymoon is great in every way, save for the fact that I couldn't have any of my favorite fish and chips," June sighed. "That's why it's always better to be back home where I belong." "That's true. I've been craving it too," Lulu said with a smile. After shooting both of them glances, Nicole responded, "Understandable." The two then exchanged looks and laughed. "But most importantly, we've missed you." "Stop it. Just eat your fish." Nicole cringed. The gales of laughter continued as the group of friends, who had not seen each other in a long time, chatted and enjoyed themselves. "Hey, are you guys planning to eat until the restaurant closes?" Samuel's voice blared out as two figures stood next to their table. "Oh, you're here." Everyone immediately made room for Samuel and Spencer when they saw them. "Join us." After sitting down, Samuel and Spencer looked at Nicole and said, "Why do you look like you've lost weight?" "Really?" Nicole touched her cheeks. "Do you think so? Not only have you lost weight, but your complexion also doesn't look healthy either," June added. "We noticed that a long time ago." However, they figured that Nicole might have been under a ton of pressure as of the recent weeks, and that was why they decided not to ask her about it any further. "Don't overwork yourself. Now that I'm back, I can share some of the workload at the company," Lulu advised. After giving everyone a good look, Nicole smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'm fine. Don't go around shouldering everything by yourself. If you ever need us, just tell us. Even though we're not interested in managing the company, we won't ignore you if you need help." Spencer looked at Nicole, his eyes brimming with sympathy. Nicole smiled, knowing that her siblings and friends truly cared about her. "Don't worry. I'm really okay, and you all have your own stuff to take care of." "What the heck does Chloe really want?" Lulu asked Nicole. "She probably wants all the assets of the Riddle family and the entirety of Riddle Corporation." Nicole shrugged. Having grand ambitions was not a problem. The question was if Chloe was capable enough to pull it off. Can she even handle it? Lulu frowned with doubt written all over her face. Do you think she's acting on Everett's instructions? This seems more like his style. We're investigating it, but the details are still unclear. Nicole frowned. Be careful. I think they are all this together, Lulu said angrily. Is there still no news of Everett? June murmured. It seems that he's really good at hiding. He's definitely with Lawrence now. And guess what? Lawrence has also returned. I think they must be planning something. Nicole's eyes darkened. We don't really know much as of now. Everything is still speculation at this point, she continued. In any case, he won't sit still, Lulu grimaced. But how did he get involved with Lawrence? It's just a matter of mutual interests. People like Everett are not known to do anything that doesn't benefit them directly. Wasn't it the same when he made a deal with Harvey? June said, her tone heavy with disdain. Anyway, keep your wits about you. Spencer frowned. And be sure to keep your guard up, especially when dealing with Lawrence. He was the one who had taken Everett in, so you can't consider him a friend anymore. Even though he had rescued her before, there were still specific boundaries that were inviolable. Since Lawrence had crossed that line in the sand, it was clear that they were now on opposing sides. Nicole bit her lip and nodded. One could say that her relationship with Lawrence had become antagonistic ever since she reclaimed the Fire Crest. It's getting late. You should all eat up and go home for some shut-eye, Samuel suggested as he looked at Nicole, who seemed tired. That's right. We have to get up for work tomorrow, Lulu agreed. She was planning to get back to work tomorrow. Have you had your dinner yet? Nicole asked Samuel and Spencer. Oh, we had it at the hospital together with Stanley already, Spencer replied. Okay, you should all go home now. You've all traveled a long way, and it must have been tiring. They had all been busy for the entire day, and it was time for them to get some proper rest. As the group left the restaurant, they noticed that Jared's car was parked by the curbside. Surprised, Nicole strode up to the car. Why are you here? Have you been waiting for a long time? Why didn't you come in? With a smile on his face, Jared extended his hand. You're asking too many questions at once. Get in the car, and I'll explain. Nicole placed her hand on Jared's palm, and with a gentle pull from him, she got into the car. The couple drove off, with Spencer and Samuel following suit with their wives. I didn't expect that so much had happened back at home during our honeymoon. Lulu sighed. Don't think too much about it. Get yourself a good night's sleep and head back to work tomorrow, Spencer comforted her as he held her hand. After flashing him a smile, Lulu asked, There's a chance that I'll get really busy starting from tomorrow. Will you ever feel as if I'm neglecting you when that happens? No, it's fine. I have a backlog of work to clear as well, but it's not too much. I can still take care of myself and you as well. Spencer returned her smile. Lulu's cheeks reddened at once, giving her an even more endearing look. Meanwhile, Nicole and Jared were on their way to the Riddle residence. You came back from Grandpa's place. Why didn't you just go home? Nicole asked. She had not expected Jared to come and get her. If anything, she thought he had gone home on his own. I thought you wouldn't take long, he replied. Initially, he had planned to go home to the Riddle residence, but due to the fact that it was convenient, he came over with the aim of picking her up and going home together. Why didn't you come in when you arrived? Nicole asked. She knew that he must have been waiting for her for a long time, although he was silent about it. I didn't want to disturb you, he replied. Jared thought it would be a good idea to let her unwind and blow some steam when he saw her chatting with her friends in such joyful fashion. Then, Nicole raised her eyebrows in surprise. So you haven't had dinner yet? As it turned out, he had been waiting for her until late at night without a single bite of food. I'll have some grub when I get back. Jared gently embraced Nicole, thinking that it was not a problem to have a late dinner. Nicole, however, begged to differ as she sighed in defeat. You're not allowed to do this from here on out. Jared not taking care of his body was something she could not accept. She could go home on her own, or she could even hitch a ride from Samuel and Spencer. How could he wait for her while he starved? Jared looked at Nicole and smiled. So, you do care about me? Of course I do. If you do not want me to get all worried sick, you have to take care of yourself. Got it? Nicole eyed Jared sternly. Upon hearing that, Jared's eyes narrowed as his smile became wider. He lowered his head and kissed her on the forehead. Since you care about me, don't leave me on my own ever again, he said. Nicole blinked her eyes in confusion. Is he trying to be cute now? Jared, however, was acting as if nothing had happened. He continued embracing Nicole without feeling that anything had been out of place moments ago. Nicole was amused by this nonetheless. His calmness had almost even tricked her into believing that she was mistaken earlier. When they arrived at the Riddle residence, they came to realize that the cooks and the housekeepers were no longer around. After figuring that they must have gone back to their rooms, Nicole hurried to the kitchen and whipped up a bowl of creamy soup noodles for Jared. Here, the simplest meal I can come up with. Eat up. She had made the quickest dish she could muster as she was worried that he might be hungry. Although it was just a simple bowl of noodles, she had also added vegetables, meat, and eggs into the mix, ensuring that it was nutritious. Jared's eyes softened as she looked at the bowl of noodles, which was nothing short of scrumptious. In no time, Jared had scarfed the entire bowl of noodles down. However, he still felt hungry. Nicole was amused as she handed a paper towel to Jared. You have food on your face. Let me wipe it for you. Jared looked at the towel in her hand without grabbing it. All he did was stare at her. Having understood what Jared was referring to, she glared at him. Still, she went on to wipe the corner of his mouth anyway. Jared happily grabbed the paper towel and placed it on the table. Then, he held Nicole's hands and brought her up to the first floor. By then, everyone in the house was already in bed, including Nolan and Lana. Thus, Jared and Nicole went right back to their room. Just as Nicole was about to step into the shower, her phone blared with a message. She shot her phone a glance, and that was when her eyes narrowed. It was a message from Lawrence. Noticing that Nicole had a weird look on her face, Jared asked, "Who's that?" "It's from Lawrence. He's saying that Everett has nothing to do with this incident. However, he's asking me to be careful as Everett is in close contact with Chloe." Nicole explained. She was dumbfounded by the fact that Lawrence was helping her keep an eye on Everett. Aren't Everett and Lawrence working together? Good to know, Jared said, before taking Nicole's phone away and handing a set of pajamas to Nicole. Jared's reaction was clear. There's no need to bother with his message. Just take a shower and go to sleep. Nicole looked at Jared with a smile. Then, she took her pajamas and entered the bathroom. Jared looked at her phone for a moment and placed it on the table. Since then, she had paid the message no mind. In regard to Chloe and Everett's issue, Nicole was sure that the both of them would not be able to evade legal responsibility even if she could gather nothing from the investigations. When Nicole emerged from the bathroom, she saw that Jared was sitting by the bed, deep in thought. So she sauntered over and asked, "What are you thinking about?" "Nothing much," Jared said upon noticing that she was done washing up. "You may go to bed first. How about you?" Nicole was a little confused. "I still have some issues to deal with." Jared planted a kiss on Nicole's forehead and patted her on her shoulder. As Nicole lied down, she saw Jared switching his computer on. Then, she bit her lips nervously and fell asleep. Jared watched as Nicole fell asleep beside him, a surge of warmth radiating from within his chest. Then, he went up to the desk and sat down at the computer. A man's face immediately appeared on the computer screen. "Hello, sir." "Charlie, any updates?" Jared asked calmly. "Yes." Everett could not unlock the water crest, so he passed it to Lawrence. "They've decided to work together," Charlie reported frankly. "The water crest?" Jared raised his brow in confusion. How did Everett even acquire it in the first place? It must have been his luck. Unfortunately for him, He's not savvy enough to crack the system. After he opened it, the watercrest was unable to recognize its bearer and its failsafe kicked in, locking it again. Lawrence has since been looking for people skilled enough to give it a shot, but none of them have succeeded. I'm not sure if he'll seek Mrs. Johnston's help soon, Charlie said, his voice tinged with concern. If Lawrence were to ask Nicole to crack the watercrest, and if she were to agree to it, they would just give rise to a rival as formidable as they were. Understood. I'll take care of this, Jared said, his voice heavy with cold fury. So, has Everett been hiding in the base camp all this while? Yes. Lawrence wouldn't let him out. He probably doesn't want Everett to disrupt his plan, Charlie answered. And after a moment of hesitation, he asked, should I think of a way to lure Everett out from there? Leave it for now. As long as the watercrest remains locked, Lawrence will do his damnedest to ensure that Everett stays locked up. After all, he could not afford to not be cautious about Everett. Even though they were partners, the mistrust between both parties was highly apparent. Because of this, they had to keep their eyes on each other. So, we'll just wait for them to come out on their own? If that was the case, it could very well mean that they had been granted access to the system and attained the watercrest. Naturally, Jared understood Charlie's concern. Then, he glanced over his shoulder. Perhaps, I should let Nicole try. I'll take care of this. You just have to make sure that someone is keeping an eye on them, Jared said, and paused for a moment. Oh, I also need you to keep an eye on the person Lawrence has left behind in San Giotto, he continued. From the looks of it, Lawrence was still very much concerned about the events going on in San Giotto. He really had too much time on his hands. Understood, Charlie replied. With Charlie signing off, Jared switched his computer off and gazed off into the night sky outside of the window. Meanwhile, at Macrunia, Lawrence was left feeling restless and jittery. He and Everett had not made any progress with the watercrest, and at this rate, he was starting to run out of patience. Earlier, he had sent a message to Nicole, tipping her off on what Chloe and Everett were doing. Yet, he was met with complete silence in return, and that made him very nervous. As Lawrence was out of San Giotto for a couple of weeks, most of the news he had gotten was old and obsolete. Therefore, he was worried that he might have missed out on any important updates that might have unfolded. Should we think of something else? Everett suddenly entered the room and barked. Everett was also beginning to run out of patience because of how slow the progress was. In fact, Everett regretted working together with Lawrence. There were already several instances in which he wondered if the outcome would have been different if he had sought the help of someone else instead. Understandably, Everett's act of barging into Lawrence's office had angered the latter, and when compounded with that question thrown at him, he became furious. You're in no place to tell me what to do. It's just a friendly reminder. Everett froze and mellowed his tone. If you could do it yourself, why did you seek my help in the first place? Lawrence glared at Everett. Whatever is happening in San Giotto, you better tell them to stop, or I won't be pulling any punches. If they hurt any of Lawrence's loved ones, he would not hesitate to destroy them. Everett gritted his teeth and matched Lawrence's glare with one of his own. You did a background check on me? Do you think I have to do that? Lawrence roared. If Lawrence wanted to find an answer, he would be able to get it without lifting a finger. Everett balled his knuckles into a fist as he suppressed the fury within him. But before he could act, his rationality kicked in, reminding him that Lawrence was an unpredictable person. Initially, Everett had thought of Lawrence simply as a powerful figure who could go toe-to-toe with Jared. However, he seemed to have underestimated Lawrence. Anyone who could match Jared was no pushover. At that point, Lawrence might have already known Everett's true motive. He might have also known of Everett's plan in San Giotto. As for all that had happened in the past, it was either that Lawrence had been able to accept the reality of things with ease, or he had been sitting back, waiting to reap the fruits of his labor. However, Chloe had crossed the boundaries of that which was considered acceptable for Lawrence. She had attempted to hurt Nolan and Lana this time around. Even if Lawrence was doing something that would be to the detriment of Nicole, He would never allow anyone else to harm her. Perhaps, one could say that Lawrence wished for Nicole's downfall but would not allow Nicole and the kids to get hurt. Do you think Nicole would ever forgive you for all that you're doing? Everett prodded, having regained some confidence after understanding the situation. This prompted Lawrence to shoot a dagger of a stare at Everett, an act which sent shivers down the latter's spine. The look in Lawrence's eyes instantly made Everett realize that he should not have challenged Lawrence at that moment. It was nothing short of terrifying. With just one look, one could already tell how cruel Lawrence was and what he was capable of.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.